Hey, what's up? It's Mike Carroll with Intelligent Conversations. Today I want to talk to you about mistake number 4 in the 7 devastating sales mistakes we see organizations making. And today we're going to talk about systems. Systems are basically everything not dealing with your people. So people think about systems in terms of pipeline, in terms of your sales process map, in terms of your recruiting system, maybe it's your compensation system. There's a whole range of different things. I want to just focus on 3 today. First thing I want to talk about is a sales process map. Seems pretty straightforward, but you'd be amazed at how many companies really haven't documented and organized the sales process map. What is a sales process map? Well, basically that's just documenting the questions and the positioning statements and the things that your salespeople need to do at every milestone of your sales process. I like to keep it simple. I think in terms of setting appointments. When you're on appointments, what's the discovery process you go through? Once you've discovered enough reasons for them to need your product or service, what qualifying questions do you need to ask? Most salespeople just qualify the budget, but there's a whole range of other things you need to qualify, whether it's budget, timeline, decision-making process, competition, all the other things you need to qualify, and then finally closing. And when you think simply in terms of just those 4 phases, it becomes a lot easier. One of the things we do with our clients is we'll sit down and we'll map out the types of questions and positioning statements you need to ask to get an appointment. And then when you're on an appointment, what types of questions do you need to explore to discover their compelling reasons for moving forward and doing business with you. And if you don't have enough compelling reasons, then that's a sign to disqualify them and move on to another prospect. The other thing we'll do is asking all the qualifying questions and then again the closing questions. And simply mapping that out is a huge difference. So most companies would benefit just from putting that one system in place. When you put a sales process map in place, then you can also start to look at your pipeline differently. You can start to measure movement through your pipeline. When you've got clearly defined milestones at each stage of your pipeline, you can start to look at the critical ratios and understand by salesperson who's not setting enough appointments, how many appointments are set that aren't converting into a qualified prospect, how many qualified prospects don't get to the proposal stage, how many proposals don't convert into business. And when you start to manage those types of metrics, you can start to look at more forward-looking indicators rather than what most companies do, which we talked about in our last video with the basketball game, just looking at revenue, which is always a lagging indicator. And then the last system I want to talk about is your recruiting process. Most sales managers hate recruiting because it's a pain, it takes up a lot of their time, they don't want to do it, they don't like to work with HR, and so there are all sorts of reasons why companies don't want to always recruit. My philosophy is sales managers should be recruiting 100% of the time. You should always recruit, that way you're never held hostage to your current sales team. You never have to worry about, well, what if so-and-so leaves? You've always got a line in the water, so to speak, so that when you get a nibble, you can take a look and decide, do I want to bring this person in for an interview or not? Remember, a decision to recruit isn't a decision to hire. So always have your feelers out there, always look for that next talent, and when you get that system in place where you can always recruit, you start to ask different questions. What kind of questions could you ask if suddenly you had a candidate come into your recruiting system who was better than your top producer? What kinds of decisions could you make if that were the case? We have a recruiting seminar coming up on March 18th, and there's a link right below here with more information on that, where we teach in a full day a system, a turnkey system you can just bolt on to your sales hiring process and really change how you bring on new sales talent. This is Mike Carroll. Those are just a few ideas on mistake number 4 of our 7 devastating mistakes, which deals with systems. Thanks. Have a great day.